Looks like we are fired up. I'm going to give it a second. I'm going to check out the whatchamacallit as well. Make sure it sounds good. Ba. Voice chat, my mic. I can bump you guys up or bump you up. $85. Hold up. Can you speak for me, Gabe?
I am speaking for you, Mr. Jacobo. This is a mic check. Would anybody named Michael in the room please stand up?
All right. Sounds good. Let me go ahead and let's get the multi-stream stuff. All right. Man, what a nice sleepy Sunday I'm having. I'm not gonna lie, man.
Yeah, nice laid back.
Yeah, chilling.
Chill one.
Yeah, for sure. All right. About a minute. Okay, well, everything's looking all right. Cool beans. Are you ready?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Secondcitykids podcast, episode numbered 174.
174.
And Gabe, you were wondering for the silence is because I was playing the actual intro. That's why.
Wow,
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I played that, and it's about 25 seconds long, as you know. So that's why the extended silence happened. Hopefully it wasn't cut off too bad while you're talking, but that's okay. No big deal. But we are back on what I would say is a beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. And we are back for our Halloween episode, and Halloween in multiple ways. Obviously, we will talk about the nitty gritty on that relatively soon. But like I said, it's been about a month, maybe a little under a month since our last pod. And we got a little bit of an agenda. But first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and get into what we normally talk about. And that's how you've been.
I've been all right, man. Really sort of busy past couple of weeks. As you know, I've been working and filming, and doing all sorts of things. But it's fun. It's a blast. It just takes up time.
Absolutely. Do you have any projects that you want to talk about at the moment, or are you going to save that for a little bit later for the pod?
Yeah, I can mention some of them.
Sure.
Oh boy, I can't English right now.
Okay.
I am the next certified thing that's locked in is the Gulch show in December.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am running the Great American Ghost Signs of the Swarm Fit for an Autopsy show in January at Reggie's. That'll be nice and nasty.
Close too, not as much of a drive.
Yeah, and the Gulch one is at the Bottom Lounge.
Very cool.
That'll be nice and easy. And then I am actually may or may not be returning to Ohio for another show in January. But I know I mentioned to you in an interview I want to do. I don't want to quite give that away until it's locked in and sort of edited.
Cool. Excellent. What is the name of your YouTube channel so people can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Photos by Jabril. So Photos, BYJAHBREAL.
Mm-hmm.
I have Silent Planet, Motives, and Blossom Reynolds up so far, and more content will come as we sort of record it.
That's good stuff, man. Excellent. I am glad that you have found another little project, a little side project for yourself. And, yeah, you seem like you're having fun doing it. So that's good. As far as me, more of the same. I actually recently launched my YouTube channel. Been doing a, playthrough of, whatchamacallit? Oh my God. No Man's Sky. I'm actually going to get back into it. I do have one more episode that I haven't fired away, but between my birthday, the White Sox playoffs, a lot of extra shit going on. Haven't really had the time to even live stream. I'm sure people on Twitch have noticed. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. YouTube, Brilliant Villain. It's also the same as my Twitch name, so it is what it is. But yeah, man, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of different things to do. And it's all good stuff, all in good fun. But I believe this was on this note was on the agenda at the last podcast, right? So I could delete this.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
Yes,
so
we did.
Go ahead and axe. It's the Mario movie that everybody seems to hate. In case anybody was wondering.
No, not the Mario movie. I'm talking about the note. How do you want?
I didn't even see the note.
How do you want to go? I believe it was.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. So let's talk about the Mario movie that everybody hates.
Okay, so actually, this is not the Mario movie that everybody hates. This is the new Mario movie. So
that everybody is going to hate.
The one that everybody's going to hate. So let me go ahead and kind of pull up the cast here, because I don't think the cast itself is particularly bad, but it's gonna be interesting because it's a Mario movie, and I don't necessarily know if we needed one. But I'm gonna get it pulled up.
I think what's going on here is that sort of Nintendo saw the success of the Sonic movie.
Yeah.
And video game movies are coming back, you know what I mean? Like, that's usually how it starts. You have one very good, very solidly received film happen, and then suddenly this idea that's been dead in the ditches since 2008 goes, well, maybe we can resurrect this cash cow. For
sure.
And I'll kick us off. I'll start with saying the only, like, 2 cast members I'm about is Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong and Danny DeVito as, who's he playing again?
I actually don't see Danny DeVito on this list.
Oh, that might have been a meme then.
Yeah, you wanted Danny DeVito to be Waluigi. That was the meme.
Yeah, there we go. So it's Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi. I don't mind that. That's actually a good.
That's
fit.
Not bad. Yeah.
Jack Black, as Bowser. Jack Black can be sort of in anything, and we'll still love him.
True.
And Seth Rogen, Fred Armisen, a couple of other notable names here, but I don't know, man. I don't know if Chris Pratt's like a good fit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, is he gonna sound like Mario, or is he gonna sound like Chris Pratt? That's kind of the thing.
It's one of those things where if you look at it, you're like, okay, I kind of see why, because the goofiness maybe lines up with what they want to do with the film. But my whole thing is that Mario's always had this super distinct vocal sound. You know what I mean? And they should have brought back, I don't remember the actor's name, but the dude who did the OG Mario movie.
He's dead.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they should have resurrected him and not this cash cow. But I'm good with these quips today, man.
Yeah.
I had my coffee this morning.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I got mixed feelings about it because the Sonic movie did well for
what it was.
For what it was. And it was a fun movie. I'm not going to sit here and talk shit about it. You know what I mean? It's at the end of the day, you and I grew up with Sonic, and some of these kids growing up right now didn't. And it's just the fact. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Yep.
Where we were talking about what was it, Jason X the other day, where New Line Cinema was like, oh, well, we're going to have a 10-year gap between Jason Goes to Hell and Freddy vs. Jason. Like, there's going to be a generation of kids who aren't afraid of Jason, so we got to release Jason and Spacin'. But, I mean, here's my thing, man. The Sonic movie did well because they took the criticism from the fans and they fixed and tweaked and revamped. And it was a movie that was delayed on more than one occasion, but at the end of the day, it was worth the wait. I think it made its money back, however many fold. And, like I mentioned, at the end of the day, it got very solid reception. That's because when you have backlash from your core audience, you should really sit down and be like, do we screw our core audience and try and market towards the newer generation that probably already doesn't even care enough to see your movie? Or do we sort of try and cater towards the OGs, but yet still try and bring in that new group? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And Mario, unlike Sonic, I think Mario's kind of stayed in the limelight consistently.
Nintendo,
has stayed, kind of out there, and there's different phases of Mario for different childhoods. I think you and I, it's very obvious that we grew up in the kind of the N64, Super Mario 64 kind of era, but subsequently they've had the Paper Marios, they've had obviously the the kart games.
The Odyssey is kind of the big one.
The Odyssey, the Galaxy games, for the generation just after us. So I think if anything in that regard, it might have a better chance of maybe being a hit than most video game movies, because Mario has stayed relevant. Basically since he was dodging barrels from Donkey Kong. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not entirely sure about this cast. Like I said, there is a couple of choices that I liked, but, I don't know, mixed feelings about it overall. I think, video game movies, and we've talked about this, have kind of gotten a bad rap because for the most part, they aren't particularly executed very well. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I know it's going to be quite, a long ways away from this being completed. It's being done by Illuminations, which are the same people who do like the Minion movies and Despicable Me and stuff like that. So obviously the animation itself, I think, would be quality. I think that's fair to say. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And as long as they're showing, the proper care for the character, I think it'll be all right. But you never know. You never know with these things. Is it a cash grab? Well, obviously, to a certain extent it is. Otherwise, it wouldn't be made. But I don't know. I mean, I don't want to condemn it. And I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens,
It'd be absolutely hilarious.
What's that?
If they made a game based off this movie.
Yeah, right? Mario Goes to Hollywood or something like that. Mario Hollywood.
No, just in general, if they made a Mario game, you know what I mean? For this weird one-off movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be kind of funny.
Yeah, I feel like video game movies also get a bad rap, because when you said movie video game tie-ins, the other way around. Yeah, so it's one of those things where we'll see, like when we saw that first Sonic trailer, I think you and I were very much like, well, the OG Sega fans are going to hate you.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
I'm sure there were some haters out there, but at the end of the day, reception was generally positive.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I saw it and I liked it quite a bit. So, yeah, man, we'll have to wait and see what the prognosis is on this, and obviously maybe wait for that first initial trailer, and we're gonna go ahead and go from there. So, a lot of movie reviews on here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and move into Shang Chi. I'm gonna go ahead and cover it real quick. Basically, it is Marvel Goes Kung Fu, and I like it. They probably one of the better introductions to a new character. Which is, I don't know, it's been a while, I think, since we've had like a new character movie, right? I think. So, new character, opening up kind of a different branch of, kind of the Marvel playbook here. Open up a new page, so to speak, with kind of like Mystic Arcs kind of a deal. I know Doctor Strange kind of dabbles, but, so more of that. Good villain. I would say probably one of the more recognizable villains, for a standalone Marvel film, which, I think, Loki probably is the only standout when it comes to those movies, and maybe Killmonger in the Black Panther movie. But yeah, he definitely stood out, tied in some loose ends from other previous failed Marvel, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe influence or cameo from, a different character. It's just kind of interesting to me. But yeah, I would say overall, I definitely enjoyed the film. There were some moments where I audibly said, wow, that was pretty cool. And I think most casual fans will enjoy it as well. And I'm kind of excited to where we're going next with the Marvel thing. So Shang-Chi, B+, pretty cool. So,
I actually heard quite a couple of people saying that it might be the best Marvel movie ever. And my whole thing is, my whole thing is, I don't know if the Marvel train is just absolutely guffawed at like just the sort of new phase that's coming out, because it's a little bit differently like tempoed and structured, and they're trying out new things, right?
Absolutely.
But I feel like the general reception for Shang-Chi was like you have to see it.
Yeah.
Like not for continuity reasons, but because it's for a good movie reason.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm glad you enjoyed it, because that is on my list.
Cool. I'm glad because I think me and Scott was like, it was really cool, and I enjoyed it a lot. It's kind of, because I would think out of all the Marvel movies, especially recently, I would say throughout it's the least tied in to other Marvel projects. Obviously, a post credits kind of opens the door for it to be tied in with other things, but I think so far, like I said, as a true standalone, I think it was pretty good. So definitely check it out.
Awesome sauce. What's up next on the agenda?
Well, I believe you put this here. AMC Thrills and Chills was on here.
AMC Thrills and Chills. Did I put this on here?
I believe so.
Let me Google it really quick.
Okay.
So, because it's been a while.
Yeah, for sure.
So Thrills and Chills is a thing that they're doing where every Wednesday they show a horror movie, Jesus Christ, or a spooky movie.
Okay.
And it looks like it's going through the end of October.
Okay.
So some of these are like $5 favorites. Like we have Ghostbusters, see it back in theaters.
Okay.
Halloween Kills, the new one, obviously, which we'll get into. Antlers. Last
so
Night in
good.
Soho, Scream.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2022. But it looks like they have built a specific like catering towards the horror market because it has its own
name,
web page,
yeah.
Right? And then there's a Come If You Dare section. So it gives you it's a $5 on like a Wednesday,
mm-hmm.
Or Friday or whatever it may be, right? October 22nd is a Friday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's Friday nights.
Cool.
It is $5 and it is a mystery movie. The only thing they give you is its rating and its time.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
And it looks like these are pretty solidly rated R, just looking through it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's your take on that?
I think it's definitely an untapped market. Because I saw the Fathom events, they were doing, I think, Wolfman and the Invisible Man back to back on a Fathom event. I'm like, well, that's brilliant. Why are we not doing more of this during Halloween? Like these theaters should just be packed with retro, modern-ish horror movies that they could kind of license off and make a quick buck on them. I do like the idea of going in for a mystery film. It maybe kind of harkens back to some of that old Grindhouse stuff where you were just watching a movie and all you knew was like the name. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and then you're like, I know there's going to be blood, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's just about it. You know, they give you a name of it, and you obviously haven't seen a trailer. It's not like trailers are readily available, and even if they were for these style of movies, they don't necessarily lend themselves to getting like big budget trailers for it. So I do love this idea. I'm surprised it's taken them this long to kind of capitalize on this market.
Yeah, October is the season for it, and I'm glad they're coming up with nice, cool ideas. I think it wouldn't even be a bad idea to do like a Christmas version in December, where every like Friday night, like, hey, we're screening a random, Christmassy movie like Polar Express, Guardians, like whatever the fuck it may be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, right, for sure.
So
yeah,
I'm about it, man.
It's like I said, I think it's one of those initiatives that are put into place to try to get people back into the theater.
Which is kind of funny because you think that they'd be swarming the theater now that they're like slowly reopening.
Well, I think there's still that general population being afraid to go. It is what it is. But I've been to the theater quite a bit, responsibly, obviously. But yeah,
I get it. It's also a convenience thing at the end of the day.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Because we live streamed a couple of concerts here at my place, and it's just nice getting one ticket and having like your buddies come over, get some pizza, get some beer, and just watch. Obviously, not the same experience, right? I'm not going to attest to that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not looking to throw hands and you're just looking to kick back and maybe throw something on the screen and bullshit, perfect
for sure. But yeah, I'm totally cool with it. What was kind of in the same vein? What classic horror movie would you love to see on the big screen that you haven't seen?
On the big screen?
Yeah, that you haven't seen.
That I haven't seen. Period, or haven't seen on the big screen.
Haven't seen on the big screen.
Dude, Freddy vs. Jason would be killer. I know that's not particularly a classic, but I don't know. I feel like it'd be a really good sort of thing to throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you knew it was airing and you got tickets for it, it's because you're a fan of the movie. So I feel like the atmosphere would just overall just be like super like everybody's about it.
For sure.
Whether you like it unironically or you think it's a terrible movie and you're just there to watch it, like I just think the vibes would be good. Other than that, though, I know it's not really a horror movie, but like the first two Mummy films back to back in theaters.
That would be a banger. Well, yeah. That first Mummy one, we had some moments where it was pretty scary.
It was spooky. I'll give it that. I think it's more of a thriller action at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
But yeah, those two back to back in theaters, like I wouldn't even think twice.
Man, yeah, that's kind of an interesting question because I think I want to be able to pretend like I'm hardcore and say The Exorcist, but I'm running out that bitch. I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, especially with with the sound system there, like you're donezo.
Yeah. Ah, man, what would it be?
There's a lot of good contenders for it though, so I really feel like it's, do you want to watch something that you maybe saw once or twice, and you were like, this, I should have went to the theaters and see this, or do you want to watch something that you've seen 100 times and you're like, I would love to see this on the big screen.
Let's throw popcorn at the screen type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like there's very few wrong answers for this.
For sure. I agree with that. Kind of cool. Like I said, good for AMC for trying to get people back in theaters and do what they got to do to get them there. I'm with it.
Speaking about theaters. And the British. I don't know how they came up. Talk to me about Bond, James Bond.
So obviously, the much delayed James Bond No Time to Die has released. Have you seen this yet?
No, I am planning to see it though, so please spoiler free review.
I'm going to keep it spoiler free for my partner's sake. Basically, the scenario, James Bond has found a life for himself and he's moved on. But much like The Godfather, just when he thought he was out, he gets pulled back in, and the scenario of that, how it kind of happens, is very thrilling, but also to much personal sacrifice. This is a Bond who has nothing left to lose, which also could have been the name for the goddamn movie, now I think about it. It is 2 hours and 40 minutes, so it is quite the longer film.
It is the longest Bond film, period.
Yeah, it is quite the longer film, just in general, because 240 is not a joke, it's nothing to sneeze at. And in 2 hours and 40 minutes, I believe, this is my opinion, obviously everything on this podcast is opinion. It is one of the best James Bond movies ever made. Period. Now people are going to have their preferences, right? I mean, I love Casino Royale. You love Skyfall. I think we both enjoy both of them, right? But
I'd even argue that we both love both.
Yes,
of those
absolutely.
films.
Yeah,
it just comes down to personal preference.
Absolutely. Yep. I fell in love with this James Bond character in Casino Royale. In my opinion, I mean, I believe it's just kind of general. The populace believes that Daniel Craig is the best James Bond of all time, and unlike other Bonds, all his movies seem to have a theme that they all tie together. They don't really stand alone. It's kind of this long, at this point, 5-movie arc that has concluded. This is, he's announced that this is his final Bond, and it tells a wonderful story, man, about a guy who has nothing left to lose, about a guy who is that we care about deeply. Because at the end of the day, Bond's always been kind of on top of the world, right? You feel like he has the girls, he has the cars, the gadgets, and he's kind of this super mega badass. And up until Bond's, I think we haven't really, or until Daniel Craig's, we haven't really had the opportunity to feel bad for this character, right? What's there to feel bad about? The guy's awesome, right? To me, all you want to see is this character ride off into the sunset happy, right? And because I think he's earned that. And for one reason or another, that just doesn't seem to work out for him. Even like going back to Casino Royale, right? The guy is very quick to give up his life to, live happily ever after with this woman that he loves. And there is some things that this man has to tackle with throughout. I love, I forget her name, but her name, she plays the Madeline character. I love her as kind of the lead Bond girl in this film. It's just, to me, it was just such a great story. It's almost like the situation is the villain. Now, not to take away from Rami Malek, because he was good. Obviously he was a pretty good Bond character. Is he on the same level as Mads Mikkelsen or Javier Bardem? No. But to me, it's more so Bond wrestling with himself. That's the villain for this.
Man versus self.
Man versus self. A man who has obviously has some extreme trust issues, and like I said, just no matter what, gets pulled back into this world, and at this point, you could really tell that he doesn't want to be there. Like he just doesn't want to be going through this, but for whatever reason or another, he's just drawn back into the world. There's quite a few emotional moments in this film. By the end, I was in tears, bro. I had tears going down my face because it was just so beautifully done. And just a great way to send off the greatest Bond of all time. So definitely worth checking out. They had some absolutely fantastic action scenes. There's this scene, and again, no spoilers, but there's a scene where he's going up like a spiral staircase, and it is just fucking mind melting. How awesome he is, it was kind of like a greatest hits in that regard. The dude was just absolutely ridiculous. So definitely check it out. If you're a fan of Daniel Craig Bond, it's necessary. You have to watch it. And
awesome sauce.
Yeah, so to me, it is an A-, just because how awesome it was and how important this particular Bond is to me. And I'm super curious on the steps that they take moving forward with the 007 universe.
So here's a quick question for you. Did you like it better than Casino Royale?
Man.
Because that's arguably like your favorite Bond game, right?
Yeah. It's kind of...
Is it on par with it?
I would say it's on par. It's just a different type of movie, Because I would say Casino Royale is
the character introduction.
Yeah, it's more of a traditional kind of Bond,
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Sure.
Better.
I'm sure the plot beats and story arcs are wildly different.
Very different.
5 movies worth.
Yeah, it's a very different. It's a much more mature Bond than Casino Royale. Even honestly, dude, it's more mature than Skyfall. Just kind of tackling with this character that doesn't really have a whole lot of depth. Historically, Bond doesn't have a ton of depth, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, he's just kind of this mega badass who gets all the girls and stuff. He's not that in this movie. And like I said, you feel for him. You understand him. And yeah, man, it's just it was really, really good, man. You absolutely have to check it out. Because it's kind of hard to talk about it without discussing the ending. But definitely check it out. Very, very cool. I loved it. Might be my favorite movie this year because of the wonderful send-off that we got. So
awesome.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It is an A-, and thank God for Daniel Craig James Bond is all I'm going to say.
It was a good run of
absolutely
15 years?
Yep, by far the best Bond run ever.
Hang on, let's see when Casino Royale came out. 2006, so 6 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, 15.
Yeah, 15 years. Yep. Just phenomenal. Fantastic. Actually, before I continue, Ana de Armas was in this movie, right?
Uh-huh.
And she played, I just love her. She's fantastic. Number one, she is stunningly gorgeous in this movie. She's not in it for very long, but she is stunningly beautiful, and I want to see more with that character moving forward. That's all I'm going to say.
Gotcha. Okay, so quick little tidbit. Roger Moore was in 7 Bond films from 73 to 85, but if you look at simply like year-wise, Daniel Craig served more as James Bond than Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Not movie-wise, obviously, but actually I'm curious to see what the hours stack up like, because this one being 3 hours, Skyfall being
like 2 and 20. Yeah, 2 and 20, I think.
So,
well, we'll have to pull up and figure that out. Think about it.
Yeah, we got to do some maths.
For sure.
Lazenby was the shortest Bond.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
One movie.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, what is up next? Let's see. Halloween 6 rewrite. Okay, so I'm going to give the context for this. You rewrote the film, and then you watched the new one, and then you had to scrap up your paper and toss it out.
Yeah.
Because it was a
very similar
plot
yeah, very similar
remake.
So, should we just do the Halloween Kills review first, and then we'll kind of talk about my differences that I had?
Yeah, you mind if I start off?
Sure, absolutely.
Halloween Kills is the highly anticipated sequel to Halloween, not to be confused with the OG Halloween, not to be confused with the 2007 Rob Zombie Halloween, not to be confused with any of the other movies simply titled Halloween the series. The Halloween 2018 is the one I'm referencing here, right?
Well, Kills is the one that you're referencing.
Right, well, it's a sequel to Halloween
2018. Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm getting way too confuzzled here. Halloween Kills is a movie that returns to its roots. If you're looking for a good, fun, gore fest with some solid kills and sort of minimal bullshit to keep you back from that fast-paced action, this is the movie for you. Now, when I usually say it returns to its roots, that's usually a good thing. I don't know if it's necessarily the best thing for this McBride run of films. And my sort of issue with it's a fun movie. It's a good watch. And it's a phenomenal film when you have, like, friends over, right?
Yeah, for sure.
My biggest gripe with this film, and it took me a couple days to sort of materialize it into thought, is that at the end of the day, when Eze and I were driving home from your house after watching the movie, I said at the end of the day, this movie is not going to matter whatsoever in this trilogy. Because it's going to be, the 2018 was a phenomenal, like, soft reboot, phenomenal setup, and then the ending, like, you can't boof the ending. And if you do, nobody's going to like Halloween again anymore, right? And this movie's only purpose is to fill the gap.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And for some, that's perfectly fine. Some have the expectation of Halloween and Michael Myers to be, I don't give a shit who he is. I don't give a shit if he's material or spiritual, whatever it is, right? I just want to see the blood splatter. I want to feel like I'm in the 80s again. And if you're of that vein, you're going to love it. Me personally, I thought it was fun. I thought it was an okay watch. But at the end of the day, it really sort of bugs me that the takeaway from this film is absolutely nothing. And you sort of said it the best. There is no plot. It is stay away from the killer. And, some would argue that is a plot. But considering what the first one brought to the table, this is not a plot. And, I mean, shit, dude, it's a solid C plus for me.
Okay, that's fair. Because I think, honestly, I don't know if you've read any reviews or listened to any videos. It is so incredibly split. Like, people are calling it one of the worst movies they've ever seen. I'm like, have you seen Rob Zombie's H2? Some people are calling it one of the better Halloween movies ever made. I'm going to break it down to basically the audience here and say a couple of things. I've seen this movie twice. All right. I saw it in theaters and I watched it with you guys. To me, in a lot of ways, it's the direct opposite of the previous Halloween movie, of the 2018 version. Because the 2018 version was so thick with character development and plot. Yes, it had kills, but a lot of those kills were off screen. And it didn't really show the violence of Michael Myers, right? He was still very scary in the 2018 version. He was still very scary, very intimidating, very menacing, and you could kind of always feel his presence throughout the film. But I argue that the 2018 version was more of a simplified, back to basics version of Mike. It was very similar to the 1978 version of it, right? The kind of keeping the story simple, deleting a lot of unnecessary lore. With kills, like I said, plot very minimal. All right, and I think in a situation where an event like this would happen, I do believe that this kind of mob mentality would start to fester, and panic would definitely set in, which is exactly what happened. Now, I do have, like I said, very far from a perfect film. I loved it, but it's not a perfect film by any means necessary, and I could kind of make that distinction. There's a lot of legacy characters that were brought back just for the sake of having them back. Not even for plot reasons, like just to be a body, in the middle of all of it. I'm going to try to keep things vague because I don't really want to discuss spoilers. Want to discuss spoilers? Are we doing spoilers?
Nah.
Okay, cool. And to me, this was more of like an epilogue to the first film. That's the kind of how I'm looking at it. Because they took Michael, who was very menacing in the first one, and just probably dialed that to 11. He is the most violent he has ever been, the most menacing, the most scary he has ever been. Just due to the fact that this dude was stacking bodies everywhere, dude. And I like how, ultimately they're basically told us, Laurie, you don't really matter to him. You're not important to Michael. Michael is a killing machine, and he is an apex predator. And I think you mentioned that before. He is a predator first and foremost at that very first in the 2018 review that we did, and this kind of drives that home. I did enjoy a lot of the kills. And I just like how cool they made him, how violent. The mask was beautiful with the burns on it. I liked the flashback stuff that they showed us. I thought that was kind of cool. It added some context to it. I liked it a lot. I had a lot of fun with it. But again, if you're looking for the most plot-heavy Halloween movie, this ain't it. And ultimately, it is an incomplete vision because we have one more to go. And that's the one coming out next year. Now, considering how everything went, I'm kind of curious on how they're going to
wrap it up.
Yeah, how they're going to back out of the kind of parking spot they put themselves in, because from what I understand, the next film is supposed to have a time gap. It's supposed to line up with the year that it comes out with. So that's a 4-year gap in the timeline. And I'm curious on how they're going to get out of the situation that they put themselves in. So
my biggest thing was that I thought the whole mob mentality bit was genius, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the issue is that I felt like it was so ham-fisted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the directors thought we were straight up stupid if you have to give the answer like, maybe we're the monsters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's just like, come on, like, do not assume the intelligence level of your audience. And personally, if I wrote that movie, I would have leaned into that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have, like, that would have been like B plot for sure.
Yeah.
Where, you know, and the setup for that was there, and it was actually done very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of you finish up B plot halfway through the film.
Yeah, the like you said, the delivery was very ham-fisted, and basically, and that's a complaint I'm seeing across the board, is that a lot of people are saying it's like, it's treating us as if we're not fans of this franchise. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of there's a lot of exposition and a lot of people explaining us things that happened. Like, bro, we're fans of this franchise. We know, you know,
Yeah.
we know who Tommy Doyle is. We know who Lonnie is. We know who Marion Chambers is. We know who Lindsay Wallace is. You don't, and like that whole scene when they introduce these characters again, back to the fray, it's like breaking it down for us, like beat by beat, who these people are. Bro, we know, you know, the one character that I did have problems with was the Tommy Doyle character. I felt like, they fed him Dr. Loomis lines, and it was
Try to fill that gap.
Yeah, try to fill that gap with the Tommy Doyle character. And ultimately, Tommy Doyle is just as dumb as every other person in this movie, you know? Like,
yeah.
And there's, you know, like, it's just a severe lack of, like, awareness from the character standpoint. Like I said, there's a particular character who's like, I gotta do this on my own. It's like, why? Like, the dude's stacking bodies everywhere he's been. Why do you have to do this on your own? You're asking to die. And it's a little unnecessary. I would have made the mob mentality smarter, like you said, kind of adding that to be kind of the main driving point of the film. And they kind of,
you know what it should have been? B plot should have been following to the locations of A plot, but B plot arrives like, you know, half an hour after all the shit happens,
mm-hmm.
and then the mob further encourages and propagates that sort of mentality,
mm-hmm.
and then at the end, A plot and B plot merge. Michael does the thing to, you know, not Michael,
yeah,
and then they witness that they were wrong.
Yeah, that they were wrong the whole time.
And then now you can wrap it up the same exact way.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, same exact way.
Yeah, for sure.
Except you just have a bigger crowd. That's literally the only difference. But
Yeah.
but treating those two storylines as equals was my gripe in this film, because it really felt like a throwaway padding bit at the end. Like I said, because you get the wrap of a B plot halfway through the film.
But there's still like an hour left.
Clearly not as important.
Yeah. There's still like an hour left of the movie after that plot wraps. I totally agree, bro. I totally agree with that.
You know, and I feel like, don't get me wrong, it sounds like I'm totally roasting this movie, but simply because I'm saying here, like, bro, like, there should have been small changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's still a testament to how, I don't want to say how good it is, but how, like, we'll say how thought out this was. You know what I mean? Because, like, I could sit here and I could be like, no, this whole script needs a rewrite. But all I'm saying is you should have timed things a little bit better. You should have spread them out.
Yep. I agree. Yeah, it's just, you know, There's just like I said, like a lot of slashers that has a lot of character stupidity. Now, with that being said, I'm kind of going to close out the review. Is that near the end of this movie, where kind of this mob storyline comes to its apex, there's probably one of the coolest moments in all of Halloween history is with Michael in that mask. So, yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm going probably closer to the B+ category. It's definitely on the higher end of the sequels for me. Now, granted, that's a pretty low bar, because half of the Halloween movies are bad, even though I love them anyways. But I liked it quite a bit. I'm really excited to see where they go next. So next year, same deal. We'll be back. So good stuff, man.
Awesome sauce. Let's get into other things that are back. The Batman.
Well, hold on. We got to do the rewrite thing, right?
Oh, right. We gotta bring it back full circle. So, I guess go as deep as you like into your rewrite, but the plot of Halloween Kills was 90% of your story.
It is very close. So, ultimately, and it's on the screen for my my Twitch stream here, but this movie will take place directly after 5. Okay. So Jamie's alone in the van, surrounded by the bodies of dead cops, essentially, right? She hears a van drive off, presumably with Michael in it. A swarm of ambulances arrive at the police department. They find Jamie, all that good stuff. So basically, I'm taking the Tommy Doyle character and making him the Man in Black. Basically, because of the lack of awareness of the Haddonfield kind of leadership, that they continue to allow people to celebrate Halloween regardless of what Michael does. Basically, Tommy Doyle has lost his mind and said, fuck it. He kind of found a group of people who kind of worship Michael Myers in a sense. And these idiots have disguised themselves as Michael throughout the franchise up to this point, including that moment in 4. They kind of believe that Michael is kind of the bringer of the apocalypse and basically going to bring Haddonfield to its knees, which is what we saw a lot of. So basically a lot of this movie, in an ironic turn of events, is spent, as far as the main characters like Jamie and Loomis will be spent at the hospital after the event of the first one, or the 5th one rather. And basically this mob is starting to form outside of the hospital to basically bring Michael to his knees. And Tommy Doyle's character is kind of the double agent in that regard, right? So this cult of Michael Myers is like basically ransacking this town and making it very weak. And Michael is bulldozing people to the ground as he's looking for his niece. So this is obviously, I had some things that I had to deal with when it comes to the familial genocide or the familicide situation that has to stay because that's in canon at this point. Like I said, this mob is starting to take over the town of Haddonfield. We have like National Guard trying to break in and combating this cult as things start to take place. Michael arrives at the hospital, basically this big showdown. Tommy Doyle kills Lindsay Wallace, who's also in the film. He kills Loomis. Tommy basically says, Jamie's here, go get her. Basically Michael throws Jamie off the thing as the town of Haddonfield gets nuked because they basically lost it because of this cult and the National Guard can't get in. So they nuke Haddonfield. I was ending this bitch, Gabe. I was putting this thing to an end because 6 was so bad.
You were pulling a Return of the Living Dead ending.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're just like, fire the nuke.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Obviously, like I said, I had a lot of other side characters. Like Tina's dad was part of the mob. The Carruthers also get murdered because there was no resolution for that Rachel character. Like she was just dead and nobody, like no reaction at all. You know what I mean? I also kind of had somewhat of like a Home Alone thing where I was going to have Loomis booby trap the building for Michael, the hospital, which I thought was kind of cool. But, yeah, so ultimately Tommy Doyle would kind of turn on everybody and be kind of the reason or part of the reason why Michael escaped and continues to bring havoc to Haddonfield until they nuke that bitch to the floor. So a lot of similarities here. Like I said, the line that I'm like, okay, this is very similar, but at the end, of the new movie, basically Laurie was like, well, the Michael Myers this is the curse of Michael Myers, kind of the panic and paranoia that it brought to this town. And I'm like, fuck, that's literally the same thing that I was basing my story off of. So, yeah, that's kind of a quick rundown of it. I had a little bit more here, but I'm just gonna leave it to the ether on that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny that you and the writers came up with sort of the same movie.
Yeah.
But I have gripes with the execution at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's weird.
But whatever, we'll leave it be.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Can we talk about the bats now?
Yes, we can.
All right, so we got the first trailer for Robert Pattinson's Batman. They brought back the OG Batmobile.
Yeah.
Absolutely in love with it, especially against this, like, I want to say it's like almost like an orangey filter in at least in this trailer.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
crazy.
A little orangey, a little green too. There's some green in there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So, thoughts?
So, I think when we had that first initial teaser for Robert Pattinson's Bats, I think I got very excited for it. I like the fact that they're not really giving us a whole lot of the Riddler in this particular trailer. They gave us a little bit more of Penguin and Catwoman. Apparently, there's supposed to be quite the large rogues gallery into this film, like not necessarily like actively fighting bats, but kind of a lot of introduction to these characters. Mm-hmm. So this, like I said, this one kind of focused on Penguin and Catwoman. It looks good, man. I'm excited for it. Like I said, I'm looking forward to kind of the Riddler aspect of it all. I think Paul Dano is going to do a great job. I was kind of sold on that. Yeah, man. Just one of the very cool things that came out of the DC fandom thing. I have problems with the kind of how the whole thing was handled, because it was like 3.5 hours long and really only 3 things worth noting came out of it. So,
yeah.
Whatever. But this was the big thing that I think everybody was kind of looking for. And, I kind of like this nihilist version of Batman that they're kind of rolling with. And, I'm sold, man. I'm going to check it out. It's coming out in March. I think it's going to be good. What did you think?
I'm excited. I feel like the bar for both Bats and Joker are really, really high. I think Pattinson's gonna do a really quality job.
Mm-hmm.
I think, say what you want about his work, but I feel like this is probably one of, if not the most serious role he's taken on. And I think he's gonna try really hard to break out of sort of the meme culture of Twilight films.
Yep.
And that's why I'm like putting quite a bit of stock into Pattinson on this film. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or Pattinson, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's sort of my mentality going in.
Okay.
Like, if I was him, that's exactly what I'd do. I would prove that, hey, I am
better than that.
This is not Lava Girl anymore. Like, I can get quality work. I know it's not him.
That's the other one.
But I don't know. We might be delightfully surprised. He might match up to Bale's performance. At the end of the day, it boils down to the writing, the story. Mm-hmm. You can be as quality of an actor as we want, but if the writing is dog shit, then we're gonna have gripes.
What I'm kind of excited for is because obviously in the Nolan Batman movies, like they did Gotham in a very like kind of a realistic kind of environment, and we have yet to see like a great cartoony, more traditional looking Gotham, and I think that this movie might be getting there.
I think we could hit like a really nice compromise if we did like a Batman Beyond Gotham, like still extravagant and sort of exaggerated in nature, but still grounded in a lot of like realism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can't have a cartoony background and try and have a serious foreground. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, there's got to be balance here.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree. Like I said, one of the many things that came out of the DC fandom, the other thing is the Flash. The Flash trailer, little mini snippet thing dropped. It was like 1.5 minutes long. Apparently Michael Keaton Batman is back in that, so that's kind of cool. And the Black Adam trailer also dropped, featuring The Rock, and holy shit, he looks fantastic. So,
he always does.
Yeah, he always does. So, and apparently I didn't know he was like an executive producing Black Adam. I did not know that.
Huh, well, that's good to know. I mean, I'm sure he's been on a lot of film sets and sort of knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. So, pretty excited for that. But I was talking, I swear to God, I'm going to make this brief, but I was talking to Scott about it in the chat, and, cause they announced a whole bunch of TV shows and stuff. that they're going to be pumping out. And I don't understand why, for the life of me, they cannot get these TV shows things right. Because all their shit comes off as like horrible CW shows, you know? And I don't understand how they can look at Loki or WandaVision and say, "Oh yeah, this is on the same level." It's not, dude. It's just not.
To be fair, those CW shows have been around for quite a bit now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have audiences captivated for longer with, a couple seasons of a show.
Yeah.
And it's that returning of the watching and the subscriptions they sell, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
You might sell 1 movie ticket or 3 movie tickets to the same person, depending on how hardcore of a, goer they are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of the things from a financial standpoint. I understand it. Do I like it? No. But
Yep.
it makes you feel any better with the writer's strike that's about to happen. We're not going to get any more CW shows for a little bit.
Yeah. So, that's kind of my deal on that. But yeah, the Batman trailer itself looks really, really cool. I like how they're calling it The Batman to distinguish. That's what they should have done with Halloween, bro. They should have called it The Halloween. Anyways. So yeah, that's kind of the deal.
We're going to make a parody of Halloween, and we're going to call it Just Another Halloween in Illinois.
Yeah, right?
And nobody gets killed until the very end. Everybody gets killed.
Absolutely. For sure. I agree. I like it.
Gotcha. I just slapped this one on here. What is movie you always cry at?
Movie I always cry at. Okay, I might actually have to think about this.
It could be happy cry, it could be sad cry, whatever you're feeling. So I put this on here because we just recently rewatched Iron Giant because I love that movie. I think it's like the perfect fall movie. When it just starts to get a little like chill and crispy out. Dude, just the ending always fucks me up. Like, I go, you stay, which is the first thing,
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It's just such a good movie. Brad Bird just did such a killer job. The Giant is killer, and Dean is one of the coolest animated characters on the period. You know what I mean? Like, say what you want about him, say whatever you want, but he is cool as ice.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, I threw that one on there because it's just, I don't know, childhood favorite. Maybe I'm a bit biased here, but it's just a really good anti-war movie, and just, I don't know, it does a lot of things.
For sure. The first one that came to mind after you started to talk about it was Inside Out, the imaginary friend scene.
Yeah.
That gets me every fucking time. I don't know what it is about it, but it fucking gets to me every time, dude.
You are heartless if you don't cry at the end of that.
That movie and that particular scene, I was just like, wow. It was like really, really sad.
Coco's one thing. Inside Out, though, whole nother level.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the only person who fucking thinks that in my household. Like, all my siblings thinks Coco's better, and Coco's great, dude. Don't get me wrong.
I didn't bawl my eyes out at the end of Coco, though.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it's great, but those scenes in Inside Out, man, really, really, really speak to me now. So, yeah, it's very, very cool.
Cool beans. Let's jump into gaming. So you got a chance to play the Halo Infinite beta?
Yeah, and in a weird turn of events, somehow, some way, I got in.
I didn't, though, right?
Yeah, it's weird. That's what I'm saying. So, Halo Infinite, I played a couple of games of it. My PC was giving me a kind of hard time with it. But what I could play is, because I'm a fucking Halo expert now. I've played like 10 games total.
You played 10 hours total, right?
Yeah, something like that. So, not super in love with the franchise as a whole, just because I didn't have that kind of growing up attachment to it. Yeah. So I played this game. I will say if I think they're trying to what's the word? I think they're going to try to make this as appealing to kind of the general audience as possible. I think it felt kind of Call of Duty to me. Now, I know people are going to get upset that I said that. But I think with kind of that weird specialist thing they got going on with it, and kind of the speed of the gameplay in general, I just think it's kind of Call of Duty-ish to me. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, that style of gameplay obviously is done well. But I think you guys might have mentioned it to me too, that I think 343
it was a slowdown from Halo 5, I believe.
Yeah, well that, and I think 343 needs this to be a hit. They need it to be a hit. Because I think the last couple haven't been particularly received very well, and I know that you mentioned that there's kind of the cyclical nature with Halo fans, that they're miserable. When
a new game comes out, they're miserable. The game that came out before it, they're like, oh, maybe this wasn't so bad. And then the game 2 games before the new one, they're like, this is an instant classic.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Mm-hmm. For sure. It's kind of like And you phased it this way. It was one time. Nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans. It's kind of, I think it's kind of similar in that vein. Like I said, I played it for a couple hours. It was fine. I had fun with it. I just had PC problems with it. But overall, like I said, it was much faster game than I think that Halo has been up to this point. I think they're kind of going for that more of that Twitch shooter kind of vibe. Yeah. And, but what I do appreciate about this is, a thing about Halo that's always kind of turned me off is kind of the environment that the game is like. All the multiplayer maps are kind of set in, and it's kind of like this, space station looking kind of a thing. This one, like environmentally wise, like I actually felt like it was more grounded. Like it felt like actual places that might actually exist somewhere on a faraway planet.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My thing with Halo is that they are definitely classic games in my opinion, but it suffers a really big curse, and that those games were made and developed to not only perform but to exceed on the Xbox platform. You know what I mean? So you have all sorts of things from auto assist to sort of building these grandeur-esque levels to make the world feel massive and open. And when we got into sort of the new standard of gaming, like when I don't know, maybe like Black Ops 2, honestly. Like around that era, people were just like, Halo is slow. And, I love Halo. I have all of them on, the first 4 on Xbox 360, you name it, right? But there's just some of them I cannot go back and replay multiplayer. Story is one thing. I feel like if you like a good story, you should definitely go play the Halo story, the campaign. But the multiplayer drags ass so bad. Like literally when we play, the only thing I queue up is 4. I can't even play Reach.
I'm with you on that, yeah.
So I think speeding it up might be a good thing, and as much of a diss as it sounds like, it needs to feel more like Call of Duty, I think it might do it some sort of good. I feel like the grappling hook's going to be a really good, sort of movement here. And, our attention spans weren't what they used to be 20 years ago. Like, people want to get in, people want to get out.
For sure, yeah. Cause that was my biggest complaint. Cause like when I bought the Master Chief Collection, I started playing with you guys. Like I think we queued up 3. I'm like, this is fucking slow, dude. Like I can't, like, you know what I mean? It just felt like molasses. And,
there's no solid way of traversing the map horizontally without a vehicle.
Yeah. And it wasn't something that I was feeling. And then basically Greg's like, well, let's try 4. It's much faster. And I'm like, this is much better. I could work with this. So, I guess we'll see. Cause obviously the multiplayer is going to be free. Hopefully it's a little better optimized so I could play it. Cause like I said, I had some problems. So, definitely worth checking out, when it comes out. So I don't think I'm breaking any ground on that. So,
let's get into this next one. Do you know anything about Choo, Charles?
I have no idea what the hell this is.
Okay. So I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it originally started as a Resident Evil mod for, what was it, 4 that had the train? One of the Resident Evils, it was a mod, and it was a giant evil-looking Thomas the Tank Engine with spider legs that would just chase you. It is getting its own game now. The developer is like 20 years old. Do you want me to read you the snippet?
Sure.
So, the Steam description is: navigate an island in an old train, upgrade it over time, and use it to fight an evil spider train named Charles, who terrorizes your home. Charles is hungry. Don't be his next meal. Dropping Q1 2022. And this looks like the perfect blend of like play it for the meme, but will also scare the shit out of you.
Right? It does. I agree.
I saw a couple of trailers for this thing. You're on a train. It has like a machine gun on it. You can upgrade its armor. Blah blah blah. There's like a whole like overworld to traverse, right? And then just like you see those spider legs like pop up, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You're like, oh, haha, spider train, so funny. But then, like,
you see it
in the game, and you're fighting it up. You're like, oh my god, this is not funny. abort.
Yeah, this stop being fun. Alt F4 real quick. Hold on.
Yeah. So I'm actually really excited for this game, if I'm being honest with you.
I'm gonna need somebody to record your reaction to when that thing first attacks you.
Yeah, maybe I'll live stream it.
There you go.
It just seems like I said, it's kind of that perfect blend for me, man. And these like train tracks that your train travels on, they like wind around these paths, and there's just a bunch of blind spots. You know, like you can see, you're like, yeah, he's gonna pop up here, but then you forget by the time you play. So I'm excited. I don't know. Like I said, it's just that sort of Venn diagram where it's like perfectly seated in the middle of like, this game is a total joke. Why am I playing it too? This game is terrifying. Why am I playing it? But I'm big excited. But hopefully like January, February.
But one thing's for sure, you will continue to play it.
Yeah, right. It's one of those things like, man, it's like, I had a late day at work. It's already midnight. I shouldn't be playing this. And it's like, but I'm still playing it.
For sure. Yeah, that's
stuff.
It sounds like fun. Definitely let me know if you live stream that. I'm interested.
Let's get into music news and reviews because we've got a couple of things to cover. So you went to a Slipknot concert for your birthday?
I did.
How? So they're a little indie band out of Iowa.
Mm-hmm. So
anything you would call a hit?
Yeah. So yeah, first concert back post pandemic, or I guess during pandemic. I don't know. So yeah. They had this tour that they're doing. They're currently on it, I believe. Obviously Slipknot being the headliner, but also featuring Killswitch Engage, Fever 333, and Code Orange. Just kind of quickly guide you guys through my experience. Code Orange was great. They did have some technical issues with vocals. Main vocalist did not have his vocals for like the first 3 songs. So that's a problem. But they sounded great. My first time actually seeing Code Orange.
Live.
Yeah, live. And yeah, they sounded great. Musically, it was really good, really loud. They have that weird, kind of disturbing stutter step thing going, and I love that. Yeah, they were great. They sounded great. I'm looking forward to maybe seeing them in a smaller venue next time. So definitely check it out. Next up, Fever 333. They didn't have their guitar player.
Oh boy from the Chariot?
Yeah, he got called home, family emergency, and they were like, well, should we cancel or should we just try to do me and you? Because there's only 3 guys in the band. They did it just vocalist and drummer, and they did not miss a beat.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and they killed it, man. They sounded great. I stand by the fact, and I continue to stand by the fact that Jason Butler is one of the best frontmen in all of the music scene. And I think, our opinions on Fever 333 over time has kind of dwindled in like excitement for them. But man, did they put on a great show, man. I love it. The crowd was eating to the palm of their hands. It was a good time. So also my first time seeing them, I think. So good show. 100%. Next up was Killswitch Engage. Now, admittedly, I did try to get a t-shirt during this time and the line was not moving. So I missed, I would say probably about half their set, but I did get to see the songs that I wanted to see from them. And it sounded good, man. Obviously Killswitch Engage is more like dad metal, quote unquote, nowadays. But yeah, they sounded good, and there's a reason why they're still doing it is because they're good at what they do. Adam D can shred still, and it's good stuff. And last but not least, obviously Slipknot. And it's funny because, you and I have been to many smaller show in our lifetime, right? Much smaller venue, much smaller productions. After watching this, why Slipknot has been doing as long as they have is because they just bring a kind of a different, higher level of professionalism to their set. I love the songs that they picked. They sounded fantastic. Corey's new mask is fucking terrifying, and it's not the milk jug. He debuted a new one, and it's terrifying, and they sounded great, and headbanging, and great times. So overall, I had a fantastic time. Like I said, it is my first show back, and yeah, it was a good one. I'm glad I went.
Awesome sauce. Glad to hear that. Mm-hmm. Glad to hear that the OGs still got it. Yeah,
they still got it, absolutely. So definitely, if they're coming into a town near you and you haven't seen them yet, definitely check them out.
Awesome sauce. Let's get into some local favorites. The Devil Wears Prada released a new single called Sacrifice, sort of out of the blue because it's only been a few months since Zombies 2. Mm-hmm. So you want to start or should I start?
You can start.
It is absolutely brilliant. I love everything about it. It is leaning into the heavy rock genre, but there's nothing weak sauce about this. I feel like they really bring that signature TDWP flavor. Obviously, this isn't Roots. Obviously, this isn't Plagues. This is a very modern, sophisticated take, and I feel like we have to high-key emphasize that every time we do a new
Every
review
time.
of like their new stuff, because people fell in love with them for that sort of riffy MySpace score synth vibe breakdown. Fine, you still have every right to enjoy that music, but the fact of the matter is they're not 18 anymore. These dudes have families, these dudes have side businesses, some of them, like they are grown ass adults. And the fact that they can still bring the heat, the fact that they can still innovate not only upon the industry sound but upon their own sound, I'm a huge proponent. I know my review for Z2 was kind of mixed, but the stuff they're just bringing forward now, it's like insanity. Like the fact that if you would have told me 10 years ago that Zombies 2 is coming out and then 3 months later we get another single, I would have been like, you're crazy, dude. Like they need to let like Will Putney like get sleep. You know what I mean? They need to like heal the calluses on their fingers. Mike needs to fucking like regenerate those vocal cords. But no, these dudes are some of the hardest working people in this fucking industry. They'll go years sometimes without a peep on any form of social media aside from the occasional shirt. But when they come back, the world is paying attention.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I basically completely agree on everything you said here, man. Like, it is just so much more mature than anything they've done. And like you said, I feel like we have to preface that every single time that they drop something, but they're just constantly evolving. And I feel like as time has gone on, they have like honed in on a sound that nobody else is doing, right? I think it was when they came out, it was very initial, like you said, kind of MySpace core, mid-2000s kind of a sound that everybody else is doing. But as they've progressed through albums, they have further gotten away from that and just kind of do something that is signature to them.
I feel like if this single were to come out 15 years ago, there would be a huge divide. You'd either be a Killswitch Engage fan or you'd be a Devil Wears Prada fan.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
And that's sort of a testament to, and I'm not saying they're knocking off, Killswitch Engage, but that's just a testament to sort of their creativity, their constant improvement, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, I think it's a banger. I love the art. The artwork, the album art for it was pretty cool too. I like it.
Super simple, man.
Yeah, I love it. I'm really excited for whatever they're doing next. Like you said, every single time TDWP does something, this podcast pays attention. And yeah, I'm excited, man. It's all good stuff. So definitely check it out if you have not.
I just, you think some people out there, I'm not going to mention names, but some people out there really don't give this fucking band credit because sure, if you observe them from the lens of 2008, you would have thought that after the buzz was over, they would have been gone, but no, they are still at the forefront. And I'm not gonna
just call them out, Gabe. We are. We already know. We already know who it is. Call them out. Shit.
And I'm not gonna say that. Shit, you made me lose my train of thought. I'm
Sorry.
not gonna put them on the level that like Sempiternal or like Doomsday reinvented the entire standard for the genre. But the fact of the matter is that the Devil Wears Prada gets up to that bar in a different gym every single time. And if that doesn't make sense, then I'm all out of fucking metaphors for you. But
there's nobody more consistent than them. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. So
may not have the biggest muscles out of the fucking weightlifters, but you know what? When you put them on like a fucking Wipeout or like the Challenge reality TV show, they're the ones that are going to put out every single challenge.
Absolutely. I agree. So
good stuff.
Definitely
Let's get into another
check
band.
it out. So Ice Nine Kills dropped their sequel to I guess honestly they're the most popular album that they've done, which is the original Silver Scream. This one's called.
Yeah, you mean not the golden screen, not the silver screen like deluxe edition, not the just the regular one, right?
Yeah, just the regular one. This was called Welcome to HorrorWood, the Silver Scream 2. Now, I could do without the Silver Scream Part 2, but I know why they did it. Obviously, they're trying to cash in on some of that hype that still is residual from the original Silver Scream. So, whatever. I think they could have just called it Welcome to HorrorWood and it'd been just as good. But I have a little bit of a hot take. Now, you and I have kind of, I don't want to say given them shit.
No, we've given them shit.
Yeah, we've given them shit about the gimmick, right? And about the kind of lack of creativity that they kind of have nowadays, because it's very easy to do. From the gimmick standpoint, it's very easy just to create good songs, well-crafted songs, because all their songs are, right? But to kind of throw the theme in after the fact and, tie it all in, all that good stuff. Now, with that being said, I will say that this album does not have as many God-tier songs that the last one had, right? The last one had Stabbing in the Dark, American Nightmare, Thank God It's Friday, stuff like that. Stuff that's like way, way higher level than the rest of the album, right? They don't have as many of those. But what I will say, from a consistency standpoint, from a standpoint where the album being balanced, this album is completely balanced all the way through, right? There are no A-plus songs on this album. I wouldn't even say okay. There's no A songs at all on this album. But I will say that this album is consistently a B throughout. And that's not a bad thing, right? So, I listened to it a couple of times and I did like it. There was some moments that I'm like, wow, that was pretty cool. Now, do I think the next album needs to be not this? Do I think they need to kind of ditch the theme and the gimmick? Absolutely. But I think musically, we have never once called them untalented, because they are. But I would say that this was a pretty decent album from them. I like it. Is it going to be fucking Stabbing in the Dark or The American Nightmare for me, where I play it often? No. But I definitely think that they did a pretty good job with it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next. They've done 2 of these and still no Omen song, so I'm sure that's coming in the deluxe edition, I'm sure. The Silver Scream, Welcome to HorrorWood, Mega Gold Edition Deluxe with what's his face dressed up as Ghostface. I don't know. But
I'm surprised they didn't go for the, Welcome to HorrorWood, Silver Scream Kills or some shit.
Yeah. So, I liked it. But it's definitely not the higher end of the Silver Scream song. So,
Little Birdie actually told me that for the Ice Nine Kills 10th album release, they're going to do horror in space.
So what? Jason X and Alien? And
I guess The Thing is technically out of space.
The thing is from outer space, but it takes place in like Alaska or Antarctica or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. They got a little bit of wiggle room.
Predator?
Yeah, that's fair game. The Color Out of Space. Anything Lovecraftian, I guess.
Yeah.
This is what a Ice Nine Kills album writing meeting looks like.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, whatever. Like I said, it's not a bad album. I'm not going to say that. It's fine. It's pretty good. But it's not going to be, for me, it's not fucking,
It's not breaking any new ground.
Yeah, not for me. So, but I'm sure they're going to sell a bazillion copies, and I'm sure that the crazy fan girls are going to love it. So, yeah.
Yeah, talking about, not a bad album. Let's get into Knock Loose, A Tear in the Fabric of Life, the EP. First of all, out of the blue, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I didn't see anything about this.
Some might say a different kind of blue.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the review. That was 174. Your dad powers grow stronger by
every day. Every day they get stronger. Every day.
You want to talk about a band that pushes the envelope. You want to talk a band that is consistent. You want to talk about a band that started out as nothing and are fucking rock stars now.
Mm-hmm.
Knocked Loose is the prime time example. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying they reinvented hardcore. They revitalized hardcore.
Sure. I'll give them that. I'll give them that one. They revitalized it for sure.
Maybe both to some extent. You know what I mean? But do you want a no compromise, no fuss album? Do you want just sheer violence? Do you want a really, really good conceptual EP? Do you want to just, I don't know, go to Home Depot and re-drywall your entire house?
Call 1-800-OxyClean.
Well, wait, there's more. I don't know. I feel like there's very little we can say about this band and this work that we haven't said about them already.
Mm-hmm.
Knocked Loose puts their whole fucking pussy into their music. There's no way around it. Like, you know, you can spin it any way you want. At the end of the day, they put out something killer. They put out something magnificent. You know what? Like, we're not professional music reviewers. We're two dudes in separate rooms now. You know, like that's how far we've come. That it's like an A-, dude. It's contender for my EP of the year.
Okay.
I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like, no amount of words I can say will do justice to what this piece of art actually does. Okay. Go listen to it. Go listen to it when you're bored. Go listen to it when you're not bored. Go listen to it when you're having a good day. And especially go listen to it when you're having a bad day.
Okay.
You got any thoughts on it?
I actually haven't listened to it all the way through. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, I will say that they are tremendously consistent. And like I said, I do agree with the revitalizing of the genre. I think they're definitely one of two heads that do that. I think the other head does more when it comes to pushing the genre forward. But
are you thinking Code Orange?
Yes, that is the one I'm thinking.
Okay.
Now, like, we've mentioned this before. Like, in a sense, this is a house divided because Gabe is in more of the Knock Loose camp, and I am more of the Code Orange camp. But I think we could both agree that they are vital to the genre. From what I have heard, I've heard I think maybe one or two songs, and I do like it, and I think it's very, very good. And I love how they're actually getting more polished as time goes on. But some people might say that's a bad thing for the genre, but because the genre itself kind of lends itself to more of this homegrown kind of sound. But I have liked what I've heard. I think it's exceptionally violent in a good way, and yeah, I like it so far.
If Chaos had a soundtrack, Code Orange, Knocked Loose would be on there.
I agree.
First two picks.
Mm-hmm. I agree. For sure.
We have T-5 days until the new Every Time I Die release. So
yeah, well, I was about to say, man, what happened? They kind of got radio silence on us. What the hell?
They're not dropping anything, dude. You know, Planet Shit, we heard like a year ago. Like, this album's been done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you know, I'm not going to say the hype is still there, but the hype is definitely still there because you know how I feel about them. But, well, you know, 16 songs. They're doing a couple interviews here and there, but you know damn well Friday, it's going to be Every Time I Die Day. It's going to be a national holiday. They're going to give us off from work. I'm going to take a month-long sabbatical, and I'm going to go cut down a forest with my bare hands and pull Bruce Lee on this bitch. I'm excited.
Month-long sabbatical bender.
Yeah, month-long bender in Buffalo after the release.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Big excited for that. Like I said, dude, like 3 of these some of them weren't even singles that were released, but like 3 of the songs off the new album I've heard live, and one of them goes all the way back to the boat show 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
That is so funny to me.
This album has been done.
Yeah, it's been. This is like the ultimate. This is the baby that has been in there for 11 months, and you're like, you need to fucking go.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, they would tweet something, and literally the top comment reply would be, "Where the fuck is it?" With like more likes than the original tweet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think they're ready to get this thing out, and I think the world is ready to get it out.
For sure. Yeah,
so I will have a very deep review of that.
I know. I already know it's going to be 30 minutes of fucking waffle analogies. I already know it.
Waffle analogies?
Yeah.
Oh, we've graduated from waffles. We're eating the whole potato now.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So yeah, man, I believe that was episode 174.
174
of the Second City Kids podcast. We will see you next time for episode 175.
175.
And yeah, we've had a good time. Thank you guys for joining us this week on the Second City Kids podcast. Do not forget to follow Gabe's YouTube channel, Photos by Jabril, right?
Yeah.
Photos by Jabril. Also, don't forget to check out YouTube, Brilliant Villain, all that whole ordeal. I will be doing some more No Man's Sky, and I'm trying to see what else I'm going to play. I think I might get Metroid Dreaded and put that up there on as well, because I know Scott loved it, and it looks a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. We will see you guys next time, and until then, deuces.